Howdy folks, my name's Darren from RC Scale Models, and today we have another kit. This one's from Trumpeter. It's their 1/48 scale. It's the C-47A Sky Raider transport plane, cargo plane, airborne drop plane. It was used in D-Day, plus it was used in the airdrop on Market Garden. We'll talk about that, which was absolute failure. So let's take a look what we get inside this box. It's a large box from Trumpeter. Kit's been out for quite a while now. It's not a new kit or anything. It's a little bit expensive. It can be anywhere between 70 to 80 pounds, so it's not a cheap kit at all, but it's nicely detailed. According to this, it's 2019 kit, so it's a couple of years old, but it's not super old. A little bit of history. We have one of the marking guides, some of the model being built up there, what it could potentially look like. I don't really see a kit number for this one. Yes, we have 002828. So as for inside the box, it's standard Trumpeter's large box, and it's super sturdy. Loaded with plastic, so we have some kind of idea of the fuselage. It's quite large. Engine detail, wings, lower wing and engine nacelles, part of it anyway. Internal flaps and seats and doors. We do have markings. The only thing I do not like about these markings is they've put the stars and bars and the stripes as one decal. I wish it was separately, just in case you do want to use stars and bars. And plus, I don't really like using these decals. I like to paint my stripes on, so being this is already on there, either you're going to have to cut this out or you're going to have to source aftermarket decals like I have. So I've got separate stars and bars so I can paint my stripes. The ones I will need, according to this, to the size roughly, is number E, which is this size, which is the ones for the fuselage. These ones are for like B-17 bombers and stuff. You got your paint guides, instructions, more plastic, so this is more detailed parts and propellers. In here we have the main walkway, which is the interior green RAF or US Army green, and then the centre walkway is black because it's like an anti-slip texture. You have your flaps, clear, instrument decal, photo etch, rubber tyres. So we'll take a closer look at this now. So here is the Trumpeter instruction, pretty standard stuff. It's always there, black and white, nothing fancy. A little bit of warning and stuff, symbols for whatever you need to pay attention to. It is a little booklet. It is sideways. So first page is all your parts in the kit. Easy way of checking to make sure everything's there, which I have done already. I haven't seemed to be missing anything. We have got some kind of colour callouts down the bottom. It is Mr. Hobby Colours. So if you don't use them, you have to do your reference. So working with the cockpit straight away. So we have the main floor. It's asking you the two colours, which is the interior green and black walkway. So you have your flat instrument panel, and then the clear film piece, and then your clear instrument panel goes over the top in front of it, which needs to be painted black. I have tried to find any aftermarket for this, but there isn't much out there. It's quite scarce. So if anyone knows where I could get some aftermarket for this, I would be interested, but as I say, I've tried looking and it's just, I can't seem to find anything. So your seats come as separate parts, cushions are kind of separate, so it's easy for painting, and then you can just glue it together. The seats are calling out for the interior green colour, but the cushions are black. I have seen black cushions, I've seen the dark green cushions, I have seen brown cushions, so take your pick. Flight yokes going in, and obviously the instrument panel, the levers for your throttle. Here we have one of the bulkheads, fire extinguishers, some boxes, a table. This is another seat going in for radio operator, I believe, which sits here between the pilots and the back bit. This is his workspace, which is more bulkhead and tables and stuff, and another bulkhead. He gets sandwiched in between the pilots at the back here. And then we have the cargo area. They've got this set up as the airborne troop carrier version, so it's got all the bench seats. Again, it calls out for the interior green. Again, I have looked at my reference pictures. Some of these seats are silver, and then the rest of it's all green. Some of it's all green because it's restored version. Take your pick. The bulkhead is all green, all the floors green, the centre walkway is black. We have more detailed parts here, more bulkheads. They're asking for some jerry cans. The pictures I've got for reference, the jerry cans are not there, so it's up to you. Interior green colour, you need to paint your inside. All your glass goes in. These are centre piece for the top part. It's got some lights. Repeating the process. Your front windshield is done as 2 halves, and then you've got this triangle piece which is part of the roof. And then once you've done all that, you can start sandwiching it all together. Don't forget you put your wheel in as well, which is a tail dragger. And then it's your option of having the doors open or closed at this stage. We have the cargo door, main door, boarding ladder. It's, again, if you want it on the ground, and you can have figures for paratroopers, so you can do a mini dio. Main wings, 2 halves, wing supports, flaps, that kind of thing. There are some nasty ejector pins on the inside here because I have already had a sneak peek of this kit, so I have seen some nasty pins in these flaps. So if you want they're visible, you're going to have to take care of those. Main rudder. Oh, sorry, these are the small wings actually. Sorry, not the rudder. Comes with 1 main piece. Is it 1 main piece and then two halves for the flaps, or it could be 2 halves. Again, it's nicely done, nicely riveted. You will see that again. Opposite wing, just repeating the process. So it's left and right on the wings, and this main flap going in. Open and closed option for the flaps, and then it's repeating the other side. Don't forget your glass going in for the light. And this engine detail, so we have 2 main parts for the engine, the piping going around it, exhaust manifold or exhaust parts, so 2 of those. Then it's the bulkhead and frame for your engine, and then repeating the process. It should look like that when it's done. Slot in the frame around the wheel well engine nacelle section, which is all kind of one section, so you have left and right to repeat. Attaching your engines and frame onto the front of it. So again, inside this wheel well, I believe is the interior green colour, or zinc chromate colour, that type of green colour it is. Sandwich the upper and lower wing section together. As I say, the engine nacelles are partially attached already. Don't forget to add these support struts on the inside, because this is where your exhaust will be attaching to. Landing gear, pretty simple. They are rubber tyres. There is no other tyres within the kit, so you're going to have to do with the rubber. Separate wheel inserts though, which is a nice touch, and the support rod. You can paint these separately and just put it all together. Saves nothing to mask it all up. Landing gear can be dropped in, so you can build it separately and drop it in towards the end. We have the intake or radiator system, possibly that could be flap again. Propellers can go on separately and towards the end. Exhaust can be painted and put on separately. This is the combination of putting the propeller together. So the propeller can be painted, the centerpiece can be painted, the little nose cone can be painted separately, so can the main part of the engine. So this can all be painted separately and just plonked together nicely. And it's a case of dropping the whole tire fuselage down on the whole tire lower wing section. Should fit hopefully nicely. Try not to squeeze it too much, so you should get a nice seam between these wings. Adding your wings and flaps, I'm not sure if it's posable. You may have to cut these tabs off if you want the rudder to be movable or at an angle. Some aerials and some clear and that kind of thing. The wings being attached from the side, nice strong wing supports hopefully. Again, just make sure you've got all of these parts flush, because this can create a gap possibly. And then there's the completed model almost. They are showing you upside down because you have got a little bit of pitot tubes going on, and then that's it. That's the completed model ready for paint, but you be painting as you go along. Here is one of the options. This is one of the aircraft that took part in D-Day operations for the airborne. Doesn't actually say what troops are on board. This is from June 1944, the one at the top. And then the one at the bottom, the 09 or Q9, is the Market Garden version. Again, September 1944. That was to take the Rhine, was it? And the bridges and stuff, which was a failure, because they were going to go around the back way into Germany, but it didn't work. So markings, as I say, the only disappointing I found with these markings was the stars and bars were attached to the stripes. If they were separately, I would have been more happy. So nice markings, but they're really shiny. Like I say, I don't like using these. I like to paint mine on. I've worked out that Tamiya tape is 8mm. Is it 8mm or is it 10mm? It's one of those. It's just slightly a little bit too small, but it will work. So as I say, I wish it was just separately like this, so you had the option, because I don't really like trying to line it all up, and you could end up creating gaps. So lucky enough I've got separate stars and bars, but I will be using these symbols if whatever option I will be doing. I'll probably do this one, the J8 for D-Day. The carrier film is not too bad, it's pretty close. It's not in these circles, these are hollow. This is all one piece, this is one piece and one piece, so I'll be using all of this. The stripes I paint on, the stars and bars I'll be using separately. I won't use these two because these are slightly different shade to these ones, but I have enough to do the wings and the fuselage. As for the aftermarket ones, I will show you them quickly. They are made by this company, so they are stars and bars for whatever size scale. It is for 148 aircraft only, and it's from 1943 to 1947 era. This aircraft was within the period because it's 44. So you get 2 sheets of these, exactly the same. So you have more than enough. So it's just basically stars and bars with different sizes. And I believe the ones I was needing was E and F, I believe, is the size I need. Little bit of photo etch. So you've got seat belts and some support struts and some grills, and then we have a little bit of vinyl, which is the instrument panel. Again, there was no aftermarket. I can't seem to find anything, so this is going to have to do. You probably won't even see it once it's all closed up and being a slight tight canopy, and you probably won't see any of it anyway. So first bag, we'll just show you the clear parts quickly. The clear is pretty good with the small windows. There's not going to be no issue with these. I find Trumpeter's clear is pretty good. It's normally some of the best out there. So these are slightly different. So we have this one here for your instrument panel. You're going to have to mask off the circle bits. A little bit of a liquid mask probably, and then just paint this black. And then probably careful painting on some of the dials, because some of them are black, silver, possibly red and green or whatever. Just try and do your best you can with it. Like I say, you probably won't see it anyway. Then you've got these ones here for your main cockpit. These are side windows, lights. And then these ones here are down the main body of the fuselage. This is on the roof. This is like a little bubble clear part. These ones have got a slight curve to them, but it's nice. They got some rivet detail around the frame, so you have to mask these up carefully. Shouldn't be too difficult because they're just kind of like square windows at the end of the day. So we have some rubber tyres. Nothing fancy. Really hard rubber. So I don't know what we want to do about that. So we have main walkway and flaps and seats. Yeah, walkway and flaps. So here's the main walkway and cargo area and cockpit floor and radio operator. So this is all basically the length of the airplane, plus the nose and the tail. So it's not a big aircraft, I don't think. So it is nicely detailed. It's typical Trumpeter. This is jet pins on this side, but you won't see that because it's face downwards. We have some of the bulkhead, some little bit of wiring. Again, jet pins shouldn't be on there. Nope, they're not. So they can pull it off. This has got facing on the inside, so you won't see this side, but you will see this side because this one sits at the back here. It has some kind of door, but it's not used for operations. I think it's for use for maintenance, so they can get towards the back of the aircraft to check the structural part, but it's not actually generally used, I don't think. We have another bulkhead, half piece, which is, you don't see this side because it's going to be facing on the inside. So this is part where stuff is being attached to. That was sprue H, and this is sprue F. Now this is all your flaps. Again, it's got nice detail. This is raised and recessed for the fabric texture for your leading edges. They are two halves. Jet pins are not a problem because they're tucked away. These ones are two halves again as well, but if you was going to have them open, if you can, you're going to have to take care of those. These are more flaps and wings. Again, there's two halves, shouldn't be a problem, but it has the same level of detail as before. Loaded with rivets. The rivets may be a little bit big for this scale, I'm not 100% sure. They just look a little bit big maybe, but it's nice, it's all over there. Once it's painted and weathered and washed, I don't think it's going to be a problem. At least it is done with rivets and it's not completely smooth. So in this one we have two sprues the same. So this contains landing gear and the propellers and stuff and seats and detail parts. And these are sprue, where is the number or letter on this one? Can't find it. There it is, sprue G. So we have all the pitot tubes, some more detail parts. Not sure what these are parts are for. These look like maybe exhaust, maybe. I'm not sure, but they're not hollowed out, so I don't know No, it wouldn't be exhaust. I don't know what these parts are for. Your propeller's nicely done. There's no bowing or flash or not much cleanup. Pretty reasonable. Have one of your seats. Inserts for your wheels. There's your nose cone, or no, this piece goes inside the propeller. There's a little nose, the yoke, and then we have your landing gear. Should be a problem. Nicely all done. So this part of the bag, or this bag, is going to be interior seats and stuff. So we have some more flaps. No, not flaps, sorry. These are structural parts for the seat, and these are the actual seats itself. So the paratroopers will sit in those cups of the seat. We have the one of the main doors, and then the bigger door for cargo and stuff, cargo door. And this door will sit inside here if you want to open. Some bulkhead parts again. Small detail parts down the bottom, but again, superb rivet detail. Should go together nicely. And now those seats again. Pretty nice. And this is sprue J. Next part is lower wing section of the engine nacelles. This is quite a chunky part. Do not cut this off because you will need this. This is part of the flap system. And this is sprue. Where are you hiding? Sprue E. So again, lovely detail of one of the lower sections. So you do have a piece to sit inside here. We do have this nice locking system. Hopefully it all locks together nicely. These are internal parts for that sit inside the wheel well. Again, so this is the lower section, covered in rivets, raised and recessed detail all over. This is part of the rear landing gear. This is part of the cover. More internal parts. Up the top is all some of your pitot tubes and aerials and stuff. Again, you've got all jector pins on the inside. Don't see none of that. You've got two here, which these two you may have to take care of because this is part of the wheel well. The rest of this should be no problem, but you may have to take care of these two. But most of it doesn't seem too bad. There's no ejector pins inside here, which is visible from the bottom. So yeah, nicely done. We have wings. Actually, now I say that, earlier I said the kit is not too big, but now I come to think of it, once you've had the wings onto it, it actually might be quite a big airplane actually. So we have two sprues the same, so it's one of these is upper and lower. I'm not sure which is which. So we have one of the upper wings or lower wing. I'm not sure which one is which. Again, lovely rivet detail. The way it's all done. This is all recessed. There's no raised on there. And your flap system will be going along here. Here's one of the smaller wings at the back. There's your wing spars. Lovely attention to detail. So the aircraft is painted in olive green upper, and the lower is the natural grey colour. So once that's all done and pre-shading and a wash and stuff, it should come out nicely. This is all engine detail. Again, I would have liked to try and find some piping and stuff to just tie up a little bit to make it a little bit more detailed, but again I can't seem to find hardly anything out there for it. So this is part of the bulkhead system, these parts here. Now these are parts of your main engine block itself, and then you have the other side of it, so there'd be this and this goes together to make up the engine. These are all the pipes. I would have liked a little bit of wiring, or even adding your own wiring should liven it up a little bit. Exhaust pipes, they're not drilled out, but they are got some kind of insert, so you might want to cut these out a bit more maybe. These are your ends for the engines. This is more parts underneath. These are, according to my reference book, these are oil they contain oil. Slide molded air vents, I believe these are. Some of my reference materials, some aircraft inside the wheel well is painted the chromate green and some are not. Some are silver on the inside, but the actual oil container is done in green. So instructions, I think they call out for chromate all over, but again, it's just take your pick. They're real pictures from real planes, so they can't be wrong. It's the real aircraft at the end of the day. Now, the main piece that you're probably interested in is the actual airplane itself. We do get this nice foam, so they are protecting something. Let's have a look what they're protecting. So they are protecting this piece here, strangely enough, don't know why, but it's nice that they do this. So I do like that they cover protected parts, so the clear is all nicely protected, attention to detail. So now I think of it, plus the wings, it is actually going to be quite a big plane. But again, superb detail. So we have the little door for the pilots to get into. Main entry for cargo and passengers and pilots and crew members. Paratroopers will jump out of the back door here. We have this weird brown stain. Don't know what that is, but again, attention to detail. These tabs, I was a bit worried about. I wasn't too sure if you can make the rudder posable, but it looks like you can because they've got these little tabs. This shouldn't be a problem. Engine nacelles are slide molded. This triangle piece that sits up the top of the cockpit is actually the instrument panel. It has got levers on it, so I didn't realise that. I thought it was just a triangle roof piece. This is your main instrument panel. It is flat, so you have got your vinyl piece to go on there. I'm really surprised Edar didn't make anything for this, and I've looked and I couldn't see anything. Like I said before, if anyone can help me with that, anyone selling stuff, I would be interested. Main walkway inside the roof, this goes on the top. These segments are the lights, so there's a couple of clear parts. You've got your door, another bulkhead. So yeah, inside the detail, you've got jet pins at the back here, which is not visible because there'll be a bulkhead here, and there's minimal jet pins just along here. You may have to take care of these ones because they might be visible. One at the nose, which is not visible because the floor goes all the way up to here, so there's no problem. You've got nice detail here, but they're quite flush. So a couple of swipes with the sanding stick on my kit shouldn't be no problem. One thing that they don't give you, or any location, is for the wire. If you're making yours the parachute version, is the bulkhead from here to here. There's a wire that runs at the side of this light It's like a cable, and that's what the paratrooper's hooked up onto, so I will be adding that myself. I would try and find some paratroopers and try and make some guy jumping out the back if I can find them. That'll look pretty cool, I think. But if I can find them, I will do that. So that's the fuselage, and that is the whole tie kit. So there you are, my friends. There's another kit from Trumpeter. It's their 1/48 scale C-47 Skytrain. Like, comment, subscribe, and I'll catch you next time.